Hello, everyone. Since this year marks the 40th anniversary of the Alien franchise, I thought I would do one of the Angels of Heaven yet, so let's open up Alien 3. A rather contested sequel I think is actually underrated. We open in the year 2179 when escape pod from the Sulaco crash lands on the prison planet of Fiorina 161, also known as Fury. Ellen Ripley, played again by Sigourney Weaver, is a lone survivor, being awakened from stasis by Dr. Jonathan Clements, played by Charles Dance. Since the facility is also a labor camp staffed entirely by inmates who have two Y chromosomes, which is a factor in their antisocial behavior. Admittedly, while director David Fincher didn't think it highly of production, to the point where he has his name taken off the Becoming without him, the movie actually isn't complete without merit. Elsewhere, a dog-blind Thomas Murphy, played by Christopher Fairbank, has come in contact with the Xenomorph unbeknownst to Murphy or anyone else. Also, his dog name is Spike, like my dog from when I was younger. On autopsy of Newton Hicks test negative for tracing the xenomorph, I must note this film does hew somewhat closer to the horror the first film, however, the second had more action elements. But since I was younger, so I was like the idea of trapping a bunch of characters in remote location for horror films. The warden Harold Andrews, played by Brian Glover, his aide Francis Aaron, played by Ralph Brown, also try to maintain order even with how mad the inmates are. Newton Hicks then cremated in the foundry at the behest of Dr. Clemens. Apparently, Michael Biehn would only let them use his picture for a bunch of money, and Danielle Edmond played the role of Newt in the autopsy instead of Carrie Henn, who had aged out of the role. Spike has also begun transforming into a xenomorph, and Ripley adopts a haircut and outfit that the prisoners know to better fit in. It also turns out that Stan Winston was unable to work on the movie due to scheduling conflicts, so the makeup and special effects at this time were done by assistants Tom Woodruff Jr. and Alec Gillis. Woodruff was also body double for the slash puppeteer for the aliens. There is some subtle use of CGI to complement the practical effects. Along with Norman Reynolds' production design, Terry Rawlings' editing, and Alex Thompson's camera work, really got that money was worth $50 million. Adding the dangers that the combat has no weapons of any kind, something that the licensing took some liberties with. Personally, the Super Nintendo version was my favorite. Not quite as good as Super Metroid, but mine is fun regardless. After a tense conversation between Andrews and Dr. Clemens, he and Ripley tried jury rig was left with Bishop, played by Lance Henriksen, to help them as Ripley is attacked by other prisoners in the barracks. The more Asian view it as a very disturbing scene. Looks like something out of a Tool video. Not that I would accuse anyone of watching this vicariously from a distance. As the other prisoners are attacked by the alien, I must say I really like how the scene is staged. The superimposition direction have held up amazingly well over time. I once again compliment how the film draws you into its atmosphere rather than trying to hammer you in submission. Practical effects in the scene when Ripley jumpstarts Lance Henriksen are also very good for the time. The effects for this part would have been too complex to do with makeup, so animatronic was used instead. Elsewhere, Walter Golick, played by character actor Paul McGann, has become very disturbed by his encounter with the xenomorph. But even when Ripley agrees with him, Andrews denies her request to go after the alien. Wow. Not even an hour in, I once again have my character I want to see to get a cathartic death. The record is still the quick to count 10 minutes into the Lost World Jurassic Park. Anyway, it turns out that Wayne Yutani is sending a rescue team to extract Ripley, but still ways away. And knowing the company, they definitely have an ulterior motive. One of the most memorable scenes in the movie, the alien kills Dr. Clemens, but spares Ripley, and Andrews will kill him after while trying to dismiss the idea of the xenomorph. Well, that was fast. I wanted to cathartic death, and I got to shy of 1 hour mark. Ripley then takes control of the situation and decide to trap the alien in the furnace. It's the best way to take it out when there's no airlock to eject it from. There's only one way in or out of the furnace. Is a classic solution. Kill it with fire. I must say, hey, there's always some impressive pyrotechnics, and this really example how CGI help make filming scenes like this safer, even if it's a bit obvious when Ripley turns on sprinklers by Martin Stanlers. As the other remaining prisoners try to plan the next move, Ripley discovers she's carrying the embryo of an alien queen, and Winnie Time wants to use this to make biological weapons. I knew it. Also, this does inspire something even crazier, but more on that next time. Now, realizing the alien wants the embryo she has, Ripley recruits Leonard Dillon, played by Charles S. Dutton, and Robert Morris, played by Danny Webb, to help trap the alien at Foundry. The way Yutani wants to extract the alien from her, she acknowledges what's about to happen. This leads to what's honestly one of the reasons why I find this film to be so underrated, the bait and chase finale. When the self-destruct after the strong one and the final battle, the Howler are still spectacular even today. This is honestly one of my favorite parts of the trilogy and possibly the entire franchise, and honestly deserves to be more recognized. Rallying surviving prisoners, the plans to lure the Xenomorph into the foundry and kill it by dousing liquid metal, then use the fight to destroy with thermal shock. I mean, between the suitmation, puppetry, editing, cinematography, and overall atmosphere, it's a seriously understated action sequence that definitely needs more love. Again, while the CG may be a product of its time, I will give it some leeway as still relatively new. It's after Terminator 2, but before Jurassic Park, so there you go. The sound design in Elliot Goldenthal's music also helped contribute to the atmosphere and the dark tone of the scene. The team wielding the Atari lands on Fury, including Bishop's creator Michael, who is also playing Lance Henriksen. Ripley then heads to the first, knowing what must be done to stop the Xenomorph from winning the time of getting the embryo. The Xenomorph is doused in lead and is destroyed after Ripley activates the sprinklers. Ripley then decides to sacrifice herself, diving in the steel to destroy the embryo, which arguably the most ending of the trilogy and possibly the entire her franchise. Not quite as emotional as the T101 being melted at the end of T2, but it's a close second for any set in thermoses. They close on Morse, who's being lost survivor of the attack, and the way the Italian shutting the facility down. While the film drew mixed reactions from critics and fans at the time and since, it still made its money back at the box office, taking $50 million in the US and about $160 million worldwide on its $50 million budget. While Fincher himself had to be talked into making Seven, the success of that film 3 years later convinced him to start making movies for himself as much as audiences. To this day, while the first two films are still seen as classics, this is definitely more of a lover to hate it film. As I've seen this entry many times since I was 8, I honestly say that I like how the setting is very close circle to contain the action horror setups. Fincher wasn't even the first director attached to the project, and to be honest, he made the best way to coach a production. Compared to what lies ahead, the film's not that bad for me to point out so often. My final rating is 3 out of 4. Next time is my least favorite film in the series, Alien Resurrection. Later.